Hi everybody. I know quite a few names here, but a few new ones. It's always good to meet new people and have you know who we are as well. I thought it'd be useful. I'm not doing a formal presentation, so ask questions as they put them in the chat, and then we've got Q&A after myself and Joe has spoken. I thought it'd be useful to start off with the structure of the business engagement team. I know that this confuses a lot of people. So we're a central function, and the full title is Business Engagement and Knowledge Exchange. We will acknowledge that business engagement can be a problematic term for some academics in humanities, because we do include in that, it's, as Ali said earlier, it's non-academic partners. So we do support relationships with public and third sector partners as well as with private sector. We're a central team, and one of the legs of that team, if you will, is the faculty teams, and I'm the Humanities Business Engagement Manager. And we also have a consultancy manager who looks after all faculties, and we have a knowledge exchange team, which Joanne's in. And Joanne is your humanities, and she also goes BMH, but she's the humanities support specifically for knowledge exchange KTPs. We also have a strategic partnerships team that acts centrally, and they look after those organisations that work with the university across a whole range of projects, a lot of different schools and faculties, and do a lot of different work with us. And as well as that, we have what we call a business intelligence team. So they're our kind of reporting, data analysis function. So that's the kind of the whole structure of the team. The faculty, we're your go-to people, your primary points of contact if you've got any general queries about business engagement, even commercialization and IP. We generally signpost in that kind of instance to our colleagues in the Innovation Factory. But our role is we're the ones that know who's who, and we know the processes for setting these things up. So we can we don't do any real work, we don't do the grant writing, we don't do the contracts, but we're the ones that kind of thread it together in the middle and know all of those people that you do need to contact. So what do we do? The business engagement, we are the ones who facilitate finding and setting up useful partnerships. So it works two ways. We do deal with inbound inquiries where organisations will get in touch with the university looking for academic expertise. And if that looks like something that's interesting, we will either contact people that we know or research groups that we know of, or we'll even go to Research Explorer and find, do we have someone with this specific expertise? And we'll ask the questions and we'll see if it might be something that's worthwhile pursuing. And to be honest, most of the time, those don't work out, because we need the planets to align that we have someone not just with the right expertise, but the interest and the capacity to deliver what someone's looking to do in the timescale. And that often isn't there. So what we try to focus more on is being proactive. We're looking at what research are we doing, what funding calls can we anticipate, or when the Industrial Strategy Challenge Fund was around, how can we look to partners that we've already worked with or that we're aware of or that we have projects that are relevant to, and bring them into a conversation and develop collaborative project ideas that we might bid for that funding, or we might convince the partners to contribute funding towards. What we do is a lot of relationship development. So we understand that it's very unlikely that we strike up a conversation with an organisation, either we've approached them, they've approached us, or we've met them at a conference or whatever, and 2 months down the line they say, okay, here's £100,000 for a project. So we do a lot of kind of stepping stone work where we try to understand what it is that they're looking for, perhaps from partnership with the university. And although what we're very much about is not getting students to deliver things for free, which is what sometimes when businesses approach us think that we're going to do. When we have a good relationship with companies, we will offer, we'll let them know, there's a master's program where you could put that as a project brief and you can get some insights through that route, and it won't cost you anything. We have things like collaboration labs where early career researchers will undertake consultancy projects with partners. And we've got, if there's a specific kind of knowledge gap that they have, we might convince them that employing an academic on a consultancy basis is the right way to kind of kickstart what you're trying to achieve there. And doing those kind of shorter bits of work will often move us towards talking about longer term projects. And often KTP is a really nice structured program that sits in the middle of, it's quite a significant commitment for a company, but it's less abstract than funding research which will be undertaken within the university. Because of the structure of it, and they get a researcher working directly with their business, It's something that appeals to a lot of businesses. So it's something that quite often the conversation goes that way when we started to talk to companies or organizations, should I say, and they're not sure exactly what they want to do with us. That is often something that comes up as a definite potential. So I haven't got slides, but I'm just going to share my screen to show you a document, which is what I call the business engagement menu. That's not it. I'm going to put the link to this. So we like to put things on one page. I've had to move all your faces, so I apologize if I've just put this and you're blocking it, but if you arrange your screen, this just runs through the top, the kind of the high level, high commitment types of activity that we will do with organizations. So for example, if a company has several £1 million to spare and wants to invest in the future of knowledge and skills, they might sponsor a research centre and institute a professorship. We don't get many of those, but they're fantastic when they happen. You might know that was how the Sustainable Consumption Institute began, with an investment from Tesco. Commissioned and co-produced research, that's what we're wanting to do more of. So we hope to talk to companies and say, by working with us on this project, this will help address your challenges. Let's design it together. You fund it because you're going to benefit from it. We gain some new academic insight. We'll get a publication out of it. You'll get your questions answered. That's fantastic. We obviously do less of that in humanities than in the other two faculties because they have facilities. Often it's lab testing or something like that. But we hope to do more of that activity in humanities. Then KTPs, which I mentioned and which Joanne's going to talk about in more detail. And then on the other side, it's the lighter touch, kind of more medium length types of activity, such as the impact acceleration accounts, consultancy work, CPD and executive education. There's a lot of that goes through the business school, but there are examples of that across the university. That right down to student projects, which I mentioned. So I'm going to stop sharing that because I'll send a link and you can look at it. Obviously, I don't expect you to be able to read that with a teeny tiny writing. We like to put everything on one page, even if it means you need a magnifying glass to see it. So that was my kind of speedy run through.
That's great, Rachel.
Timed, but I'm anticipating that you'll have questions. Once Joanne's talked about KTP, fire away with anything that I didn't cover.
That's great. Thanks so much, Rachel. Jo, are you there? Over to you.
Just unmute myself. Hi, everybody. Right. Share my screen. Can everybody see that okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Right. So, hi, everybody. I'm Joanne, and my role is to support colleagues within the school who are interested in exploring knowledge transfer partnerships. So, you know, my role is to support academic colleagues as well as the you know, your business contact that you introduce into the school and to the funding. So what is a KTP? It's important to say it's not just funding. It's actually a framework that it's been in place actually over 45 years. KTP funding has never had a year without funding, and the overall aim is to drive innovation and growth by linking university knowledge and resources with UK companies or partners. The driver behind it is to plug skill gaps within that business, within that organisation we're working with. and to bring new capabilities into that business that will enable them to address strategic challenges, and bring about or look at the development of new processes, creation of new products or services. But ultimately they're unable to do that themselves without the engagement with the academics. And the engagement with the academics enables us to define the project and apply for the funding. But the important element to a KTP is that we recruit a graduate, an individual that we term the associate, who actually delivers the project. So they're the project manager. They work in the company delivering this project. In Manchester, we've currently got 39 KTPs, and we're currently ranked number 1 across 106 universities or knowledge bases, as Innovate call them. As from the 1st of July, 31st of July, there was actually 783 projects live across the UK. In the Faculty of Humanities, we've actually got 9 KTPs awarded, and it's got an award value of approximately 1.9 million. So who fund them? So it's actually funded through UKRI and Innovate UK, but there is other co-funders that can contribute to Innovate UK, or these other funders can actually 100% co-fund a KTP. So that includes the Scottish Funding Council if the business is based in Wales, obviously the Welsh Government, Northern Ireland, but also DEFRA and BAYS also can fully fund KTPs. But what we tend to find is that the individual research councils are happy to co-fund KTP applications alongside Innovate UK. The standard grant rate across the board is 67% for SMEs and 50% for large companies. An exception to that is currently, for a defined period, the Welsh Government are until I think it's till February 22, are currently funding SMEs grants to a value of 75%. So how does it work? It's a 3-way partnership, but we always have to start with the business. We start with a company who's got an idea, a strategic challenge, a plan for growth, but they've got a knowledge gap. They can't do that themselves. And then what they typically do is share that with the university. So they share their challenges and ultimately their vision. If we could resolve this, it would achieve X for us. And then what we typically do is identify academic colleagues who have got specialist expertise in the area that company is looking for. I facilitate an introduction and we form a partnership. So that's the academic team, the representatives from the company and myself. The academic team can be up to 3 academics, but typically we only have 2. We have an academic lead, an academic supervisor, but we can have a support academic included. And the 3 people or the 2 people will then share a combined 10% buyout for supervision. And that 10% is capped. Innovate won't let us increase that. So that's what we've got to work with. And then finally, we recruit the associate. So their role is to deliver, to manage the project, co-supervised by the academic team and the company partner. But importantly, they're based in the company partner's premises. So who can apply? It isn't just businesses, I need to stress that. It's any UK registered organisation, and that can be not-for-profit, for-profit, or charities. The only organisations we're not allowed to work with is public sector. The business can be of any size. Well, I'm saying any size. They do look to see that the business has got at least, they like, 5 employees, but we have heard as low as 3 full-time employees within the business. And importantly, the company has to be financially robust, because there is some basic due diligence we have to do initially to ensure the business can afford their contribution. That contribution, it is significant. It is significant for a not-for-profit or a limited company or an SME. And on average, we're looking around £30,000 a year. And that does depend on the appointed salary of the associate. So that would be based on an associate being on a scale 5 salary banding. But if we go up to scale 6, which is your typical postdoc salary, that figure will increase. KTPs can last for anything from 12 to 36 months. And at Manchester, our average is 30. And we can apply basically nearly every 8 weeks. So there is a continuous roll of application points right through the year. And then we typically get to hear between 8 and 10 weeks after submission if the application is successful. So how do we apply? What is the process we follow? I typically lead and support the whole of this process. So we have 3 stages. The first stage is like the scoping. It's called an expression of interest. And we just need to determine that the project outline aligns to the criteria for Innovate UK, that there is a strategic need, there is a skill gap within the company, and it's academically challenging for the academic team and will provide clear economic benefit, societal benefit, and environmental benefits for the participating business. And it's likely to lead to papers, publications, additional benefits for the academics. So it's a 3-way partnership. Innovate want to see all 3 partners gain benefit from it. We have to do due diligence, so I do request and interrogate the company's accounts. And then we do the draft of the EOI, the expression of interest, that's submitted into the company's local KTP manager. And then they give us the green light to proceed to full application. The application form is in 2 parts. There is the basic application, which is led by the company partner, and I support them in completing that. And it very much focuses on the business case, why they want to do it, why they can't do it themselves, when they do it, what it'll achieve for them, and be that they focus on the economic benefit in the application form, and what is the market opportunity. So we need to validate that what they're saying, there is a market opportunity there, and there is a clear market route to market to commercially exploit it. The academics are required to focus on the work plan. And crudely, what that is if you were going to deliver this project for them, this is how you would do it. And the work plan breaks the project down into stages, and stages are then broken down into tasks with a time frame and a clear output. They're very different to a traditional UKRI application. The work plan actually needs to focus on the not just what you're going to do, but it needs to focus on how. How are they going to do it? So they are a quite detailed document, but I can assist in the use of words and how we frame embedding activity, which is a requirement of the funding. So I do provide quite a bit of support to our academics in completing the work plan. And then I lead on the full submission of them documents with Innovate UK. So I submit, fingers crossed, 8 weeks later, we get approval, and Innovate UK issue us with a grant offer letter. From that point, we've got 9 months to start the project. So they give us a window of 9 months to recruit the associate and get them embedded in the business, the company partner. I support the whole of the recruitment process as well, and we liaise with the funder to advise them when we've got our associate in post. And then moving forward, we're contractually obliged to meet with the project team every 4 months. And again, I will and my team will facilitate how that works. We'll prompt when reports are required, and we also support the associate in preparation for them meetings. And the final thing is, at the end of the project, we're required to complete a final report. So that is the delivery and the application stage of a KTP, fully supported by the KE team all the way through. So just wanted to highlight for you quickly how we recruit the associates. So they're actually employed by the university, but they are seconded to the business immediately. And they have a bespoke employment contract. So the associate actually takes some of the terms and conditions of the partner organisation. And in that, I mean their annual leave entitlement, their hours of work, and any other conditions of employment that determine when or where, lunch breaks and things like that. The associates follow the company. And the reason for that is that we want the associate to feel embedded in that organisation as an equivalent member of their team. Associates can spend time on the campus, and many do. And the metrics currently show, I think, associates, their average age is 29, and around 64% go on to be employed in the company at the end of the project. A higher proportion, I think it's something like 82%, are actually offered jobs, but some choose not to take up on that offer. We can employ anything from a first degree, postgrad, right up to postdoc, and that really depends on the nature of the project and the expertise required to deliver it. One point to note is we cannot appoint the associate or start the project until the partnership have formally agreed their IP agreement and the position of IP. And again, I'll support the partnership in understanding what our template IP agreement is and I facilitate introductions and meetings with our contracts team if they need further guidance on that. So what does KTP provide for academic colleagues? Well, it gives you the opportunity to showcase your knowledge, expertise to solve real world problems, real industrial problems. What we find that they create really great impact case studies. And the reason for that is we're able to capture benefits every 4 months. We keep a tangible benefit log, and we capture both any benefits, well, for all 3 partners, but especially at the end of the report, the project, the final report digs deep into the economic benefits for the company and suggested societal or environmental and any other impacts that has impacted on that partner. We typically see they generate undergrad or postgrad projects and placements, and great case studies for teaching and student experience. We also do lots of PR and media exposure, which showcases the expertise that we're embedding within that company. And many of our KTPs go on to develop a deeper relationship and further funding. So some of our AMBS projects have gone on to do additional KTPs, a second KTP, or the partnership of moved forward with a large SMART award. But all the way through it, you will get support from me or a colleague or from within the KET. So the key features are, it's got to be company driven. We apply new academic knowledge to deliver new capabilities in that organisation. Projects anything from 12 to 36 months, funding right up to 67% of the total eligible costs. It can be any business, any size. Importantly, it's a joint project, joint supervision, and the associate is based in the business partner. Many go on to be employed. The points internally are KTP is referenced, it's our coded income. They produce REF, impact case studies, and the budget covers a 10% buyout of academic time. It's 100% fully FEC, costed, and there you can see that we can cover consumable costs, travel costs, and some estate costs if the associate needs access to facilities within the university.